We're not going to do this on the podcast.
I knew that wasn't going to last long.
Observe. What are you observing? Orient yourself to the situation. Decide your course of action. Act on it.
You were lied to your whole life, though.
Okay, hit us with the hard hitter.
Well, I think a good topic would be talking about, like, I don't know, just all-encompassing health stuff, but I feel like we've been noticing more so, especially with, like, us getting sick, is I find it interesting, like, we're always talking about the macros and what's our protein, what's our fat, what's our carbohydrates, and we're so focused on that all the time. But then when we get sick, it's all about vitamins. It's all about minerals. We got to get more vitamin C, you got to get more D, you got to get more
about
zinc.
the micronutrients.
That it's like how we're not spending any time talking or thinking about that before getting sick, but as soon as we get sick, now it's all about those. And we could give two shits about carbohydrates, fats. But nobody's like, oh, I'm sick, I got to get more carbs in. It's all about vitamins and minerals. That if we were focused on that more, how much less sick would we be getting? Because during the whole COVID thing too, like there was some crazy stat of like 75% of people are vitamin D deficient. That's like, okay, so if everybody just got more vitamin D, are we not getting sick as much then?
Yeah, that's a great point. I would like to point out, though, that I did not get sick. The old guy.
Just for the record,
didn't get sick.
Yet.
You guys got sick.
You did have like for like a day.
It was like half a day. Ginger and airborne.
Yeah.
Totally healed me.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I'm
in the clear now.
Been using your toothbrush, so we'll see.
And not on my mouth.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think people rely too much, I think, on the food that they eat for getting their nutrients. But when you're eating crap food from takeout and processed food, you're not getting those things.
Well, and I think even that, like, people are macro hunting that it's all about how much protein can I get or carbohydrates or whatever it is. I'm just trying to hit these levels that you start to not care about the quality of anything. So you're getting your carbohydrates just from a bunch of granola bars, protein bars, all this crap that has no vitamins and minerals in it. So
and
now
you're getting your protein from protein powders.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're even more deficient in these vitamins and minerals than if you were eating fruits and vegetables and trying to at least accommodate those in your diet to where, well, I just need to focus on fat, protein, and carbohydrates, so I'm going to drink these protein drinks, or I'm going to eat these granola bars, or this vegan thing that's in this box. It hits my levels, and it's easy for me to eat, so you just start focusing on that. Okay, well, that's three things you're focused on and trying to utilize when, like, are you outside at all? Do you have any vitamin C in you? Do you, like, any zinc going through it? Iron. How many people are iron deficient? Like, nobody's thinking about those things, or you just don't hear about it. Like, oh, I'm really focusing on, like, getting more iron and vitamin C because I feel like I'm low in that, or some of the symptoms that I'm having kind of goes to that. It's all, I just got to get more protein. Everybody's just, I got to get more protein. And then some people that are on the carb craze, oh, more carbs, I need more carbs. It's like, okay, but what about this whole, like, potentially more important and also bigger area of stuff over here that you're completely ignoring? That could be the reason why, like, your bloating isn't going away, or you have low energy, or when you wake up you're groggy. It's like, yeah, you're vitamin deficient. Mm-hmm. Try just eating whole natural foods, or even supplementing with a vitamin, and these, like, problems that you've had for how long might just disappear because it's just a vitamin deficiency.
I think that would be a cool thing. Like, if we had trends or crazes that we wish would come into the picture, I think that would be a good one, because the influence that the macro counting with food and just like average people paying attention to that, I think has been overall very beneficial because people are paying attention to what they're eating and just building a better relationship with food. That will be another cool kind of trend to come through of people recognizing what having a deficiency feels like, because I think a lot of these things we all experience, but we're not correlating it to the vitamins and minerals that we're lacking. We're just going, well, we just need to get more sleep, or we're having too much caffeine, so then that's causing us to feel, dehydrated, and we're not having as much energy. Our recovery sucks. We have muscle soreness or joint
Cramping.
soreness, and it's like all of these very common, I would say, symptoms that the vitamin deficiency hasn't really come into the conversation as heavily, because I don't think we would correlate it as that, or like the mental health stuff. It's like sunlight, getting out in the sun, and vitamin D deficiency. It's like, that's like you said, how many people are deficient in it, but we're not correlating those things with the deficiencies in that.
Yeah.
And then because of the push for focusing on your macros, I think that's the only negative with that style of eating is you start eating the same things. So then you're not getting the variety, which that means that you're not getting, and we all fall into this, because
if you guys fall into it, I am way terrible.
Because it's just easier. If I have 3 eggs in the morning, I know how much protein that is. I don't have to measure out every single meal and then look it up like, well, how much protein is in this? How much fat is in this? If you just keep it the same, it's just easier. But then you are losing out on the variety, which means you're going to be deficient somewhere.
On what both you guys said, though, I think there are more people that take a daily vitamin and don't track their macros.
Or eating period, maybe.
And they take a vitamin and they think that this is my ticket to eat like crap. I think people in...
Or they think that has me covered.
Yeah.
Where...
Because I was that person. I used to get those GNC, like in the packets.
Yeah.
There's like 5 pills in there.
Yeah.
And it was like fish oil and a multivitamin, and I can't remember what the other ones were, but yeah, and I was like, yeah, I take these.
Yeah. And then you felt like, I could just eat whatever.
Well, I mean, that's when I did eat whatever, but
yeah,
I think there's a small percentage of people that actually track macros.
Yeah, you're right.
We are just surrounded by each other, and
that's the
and
culture
that community.
of it.
We kind of do that. Yeah, your
Yeah.
community.
Yeah,
But I think majority of people, if you took macro tracking and daily vitamin takers, look at the stores. How many shelves are there of
vitamins,
multivitamins or specific vitamin?
Yeah.
But do those people stay on those past a month?
Sure.
Even
the easier route.
Right. I think people start out like, I'm going to take melatonin to go to sleep, and I'll take a vitamin D supplement or vitamin.
Mm-hmm.
But then they like, that's just too many pills, and I got to remember them all. So I'm just going to take this daily vitamin.
Yeah.
And then it's like
2% of what you need on all of them.
Right.
Because not good quality.
Well, and then if you're like me, you're going to look for the cheap one, and then what the heck is even in that? And now you're not even
then
getting
you're taking a
good...
Flintstone vitamin gummy, and it's just a sugar bomb.
Yeah, it's
and
literally sugar.
none
nothing
of those are, well, I shouldn't say none of. The ones you buy at the store, they're not second-party tested.
No. No.
Like on Mind Pump, Adam was saying he worked in one of those factories that did like pre-workout, and he said they just dump everything, a scoop of this, scoop of this, scoop of this. It's like buckets though, and then it just spins it out. And you could have a clump of arginine here and none over here. So it's it's like it's not regulated at all.
Yeah. So it says on the back of your thing, you're getting this much whatever. And it's like,
you may get none.
Yeah.
But you may be overdosing on taurine.
Yep.
Yeah, I think there's just like there's a lack of education on so many of the health and fitness fronts, no matter what, I guess, like, community you're in. that I think the food stuff is starting to become a little bit more. People are talking about it, kind of.
There's more clicks, like vegan, carnivore, low
The
carb,
diets,
no
I should
carb.
say.
People
Yeah.
do those short term. They do it because
Yeah.
they want to lose 20 pounds for a wedding in May.
But I think there's like, it seems like there's more of them than there has been at one time. Like it seems like one would come, like Atkins diet came, but that was kind of the only one at the time.
Oh, but Weight Watch has been around for decades.
But it's like there's like 6 of them all at one time right now.
Well, and a lot of them have like subscriptions and it's
Yeah,
really
but-
hit the business front of things.
Because I think now it's... Yeah, and I think you could attribute that to maybe the first of the year. Or are you talking it's been like this
It's
for
been
a
like
year?
this.
It's been like
Yeah.
it.
That's what's also interesting though with the vitamin thing, like you said, like most people would just go towards that, but yet there's not any education even on that.
No.
Like, why are you taking a vitamin D supplement? Why, like, are you even deficient in it? Or like,
Yeah.
why are you taking these things? Do you know what they do for your body? Do you know what the symptoms are if you are lacking in these? So then you know what to take. Do you understand what vitamins you are taking? Like our whole thing now with the methylated. It's like you're basically just taking waste for some stuff. If you're not
Yeah.
looking into the process of what it does in your body, like you might just be kind of wasting money.
And you guys are way deeper into that than I am. I'm just trying to keep my carbs low and my protein up.
Well, and I think that's,
So, okay,
that's
so
where
what's
these
with
things
that then?
come in packaged too. Is like, I think kind of like when the multivitamin came about, which was way before us even. But it's like, here's your one fix all. Here you go. And it always just comes in those packages. Even the protein thing, it's like just eat more protein. It's fine. You're gonna need more. It doesn't matter how much you eat. Just eat more.
Or
It's
how
like,
you get it.
Yeah, and it comes out later like, oh, maybe this is a better source of protein, or if you go above this threshold, it's a point of diminishing returns, or like now you have gut issues and bowel movement issues and all this crap. They're always packaged in that like one size fits all, or it's one cure all, and then it starts this backtracking, and it's like, yeah, because you just said this is going to fix everything. To where it's never that. Like, yes, everybody probably needs to eat more protein, but we also all need more vitamin D. So let's do that too. And we all probably need some of this and all need some of that. It's just you want one answer to fix all your problems. So here you go. Here it is. And that's how it's packaged and delivered. And then people are sitting there going like, well, I'm eating fucking 200 grams of protein. Why isn't my whole life turned around? It's like, well, because that's not how shit works.
It can be summed up, you guys said it in one of your earlier podcasts, outside of the grocery store.
Yeah.
Shop around the outside. And you can't even do that anymore, though, now. Because now they've got, like, packaged pulled pork
Yeah.
in the fridge section, in the
Well,
freezer
it's like
section there.
You
and-
found the frozen Brussels sprouts, and they had
Sugar in it.
sugar added to it.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Well, that's where, I mean, I think the whole health and fitness scheme, it's difficult because we also talk so much about how just so simple it can be. And, like, it doesn't need to get super granular. Like, you don't have to be interested in it. You don't have to have a degree to understand it. Like, it's very common sense heavy. But then you also have the flip side of that of, like, yeah, pay attention to where you're getting this protein. Pay attention to where are your vitamins coming from. Pay attention. Like, you almost have to kind of maybe figure out your niche or what you like a little bit and then kind of dive into that, because it's like you can't just trust it anymore.
No.
Maybe you never could,
But I think for most people, just focusing on the basics.
that's true. Yeah, I guess that is the answer, because if you're into it, you're okay with diving into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, you'd be overwhelmed otherwise, I think.
Yeah.
Like, you guys
Yeah.
talk about this folic acid stuff and the methylated stuff. I'm just like, no, I'm not doing it.
No.
No.
I'm not going to sit on the beach huffing and puffing
Huffing and puffing.
Trying to get
For the record, we do not do that.
trying to
either.
ground myself. No, yeah, you don't do it either, but yet.
Yet. I do.
We'll
I
get
try
there.
when it's warm out. I do the bare feet on the beach so I can get the grounding in the morning. We do the walk for the sunlight, the sun eyes.
Sun eyes.
But no, I can't do the breath work on the beach. That's one thing I understand the benefits of it. I don't like doing it.
Looking like a dumbass.
Even if I'm just doing it at home, like I don't like how it feels, and that's like that was a long time of breathing. I get the benefit, but it's hard for me to like find the fun of building it into the regular routine.
It's like the cold plunge. I totally understand it, and I agree with everything they say about it. I can't do it, and I will not do it.
No. See that I could see
You don't
myself
even
doing.
touching ice cubes. with your
Yeah,
hands.
right. If the pool's heated, I ease in. It takes 10 minutes to get in.
Yeah, I could do it with the shower, like the 30 seconds cold warm,
Oh.
cold warm. I think the cold plunge. I think I could do. I think because it's quick.
3 minutes is not quick when you're sitting in ice water.
No, I'm saying like it's not. It's still uncomfortable, but that to me is like a in out situation to where the breath work like that could take you 10 minutes, which in the grand scheme of the day, it's no time at all.
Right.
Yeah.
But when I'm just like I don't like doing this,
Yeah.
but maybe that's why I should start doing it because that's the one thing I don't like to do.
Well, it's like anything. You got to start to make a habit of some sort with it and around it.
Yeah.
Or if it's just not that high on the priority list, then it's not going to happen.
I've tried to do the box breathing more. Like anytime we're in the car, I'm trying to focus on doing the box breathing. So at least I'm like getting it in my regular
Yeah.
agenda of the day. But to do like a full Wim Hof thing for 10 minutes, that would be.
See, that box
An
breathing,
ask.
that was taught to me way, way early in my career.
Really?
Yep.
As like a de-stressor?
As to how not to get tunnel vision.
Interesting.
Like when you
Yeah.
start getting, your adrenaline starts pumping.
Yeah.
And you're in a stressful situation, you tend to get tunnel vision, and you're not seeing things around you. So it was do that box breathing,
Really?
and I think that was created by some military guy. And it goes along with like the ODA Loop, and
don't know what
it's
that
a
is.
Navy pilot came up with this.
Oh, for all the G-force stuff?
No, it's how your brain works, how your thought process works. It's a loop, and I'm gonna screw this up, so I'm not saying it right, but it's like orient
ODA Loop.
or observe, orient, decide, and act. ODA. And observe. What are you observing? Orient yourself to the situation. Decide your course of action. Act on it. And then you're continuously doing that. And because situations are fluid, so they change.
Yeah.
So you have to continually go back. You're constantly in the ODA loop.
Yeah.
And in that, I always picture like the ODA loop is also the box breathing,
Yeah.
where I'm, calming myself down. And I'm not getting caught up in the thought of what my actions are. And I'm not getting that tunnel vision.
That's good for just like every situation ever to go through that. Because how many people they will just respond without.
But we're
anything
always
going
doing
on.
that. It's not something you think about, the ODA loop. You're just always doing it.
But I think that's what he's saying.
That's what I'm
Is
saying.
you
People
should
aren't
think about
doing
it.
Like they should think about that segment because people will just
Feel, react.
yeah. The way they don't go observe, orient. Was D decide and then act. It's act. It's ignore everything
Observe,
and act.
or it's emotional act.
Yeah.
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 It's I feel something, I'm acting on it. I feel something, I'm acting
They're
on
not
it.
observing the situation, seeing what's going on. Okay, and then where am I placed within this? And now what do I want to decide, or what am I deciding to do upon this, and then act? It's just, yeah.
Yeah,
just
I don't-
emotion act.
This would be a great protocol for how you should and it's not even like
Any
stressful
stress.
situation, just like
Any situation ever.
because this allows for the pause. This allows for the
Yeah.
analyzing what am I maybe even feeling, what am I experiencing, and that could take 2 seconds, but yeah, I don't think a lot of people do that, and that is the problem.
Yeah.
That's a great tool to give kids as well.
Yeah.
Offer the box breathing first and then calm them down, because I think if you put a kid that's having a tantrum or a meltdown or having a
panic
an
attack.
emotional situation, you can't have them do the loop.
No,
Because that would be
they're stuck.
way too much.
They're stuck in what they're thinking.
Yeah. Well, and their system is ramped. That I think you would need to. The box breathing could be helpful because it gives them an action of like actually relaxing their
It's
system
simple.
without having to think about relax. Like, well, how do you do that?
Well, and nobody ever relaxed by saying relax. Or if you
Yeah.
calm down. Nobody calms
that-
down. Nobody calms down in the history of saying calm down
No.
by saying calm down.
And like that's not a solution.
No.
No, to where
Like,
the
the
box
breathing
breathing is an
is.
action
Yeah.
of do this. I'm giving you instruction. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
You count to
just
4.
have to and you could guide them through that or whatever, or guide yourself through that of the box breathing. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4, or whatever. There's a way to test it to where you can figure out the correct number
What you need. Yeah.
for you.
We were always taught 4.
I like it because it's an easy to remember thing. I think there's a way that you can test it, but that's more not to relax your nervous system, but to actually help expand your VO2 max.
Of course
sure.
it is.
Well, and I think everybody's got they have their own specific beats per minute too. That like if you're like 4 might be too quick or it might be too slow.
Yeah.
You
I
could
can
be
do 4.
getting yourself ramped up because that might be too quick of breaths.
Yeah. I can do 4. When I was listening to Huberman, he could do like 8-second inhale. There's no way I can't do that.
It's just how quick you bring it in.
Yeah, but he's saying the longer that you want to try to increase the number, I can't breathe in for longer than 4 seconds. Like,
Even
try
if-
to take
even
your
if you
full
do
breath.
real slow.
Well, that's like 10 seconds.
Okay, you
just
count.
in
You
one.
count. You count.
She's
And
like,
you're going too fast. You're just like slower. Like
Okay, count.
okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. 1,
and I think you're supposed to do it in your
2,
mouth.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
She was holding her breath.
Nine.
I was at 6. I was done.
Inhale
Might
through
be
your
quicker
mouth.
than that too.
In through your mouth, out through your nose.
It's going to be even shorter.
Just go slower. Make a smaller hole.
Ready, set, go.
She's already doing
1,
it.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We're not going to dance on the podcast.
Yeah, you knew that wasn't gonna
I
last
was
long.
waiting how long you're going to let me do that.
No. Not sitting here for fucking 16 seconds watching you breathe out.
But the point of that whole thing is, what does your brain need? Oxygen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So when
And-
you're in that,
Fresh oxygen.
Yeah.
You're bringing it in. And oxygen gets where? Into your blood. And it's just, I think for having, so this was my go-to for anybody in crisis, was doing the box breathing. And they got something to focus on. Now I'm counting in my head. I would not count for them, but so they have to count. And it was always 4. And just getting them to focus on counting to 4, holding for 4, exhaling
Yeah.
for 4, holding for 4, got their mind off of what was ramping them up. And it doesn't help. I mean, it doesn't work like that. But within a minute, it helps.
Well, and like you said, it being good with kids too. Like you doing that box breathing, and then as they're counting through it, you can be doing the ODA Loop too. Like just be asking them the questions of like, okay, observation or observing. What are you noticing? What are you seeing? Mm-hmm. Or what are you feeling? Mm-hmm. Then they can give you that answer. Okay, now orient yourself. Okay,
where are you?
Where? How do you feel about those thoughts? Or where is the situation happening?
Yeah.
Then you go direction. It's like, or what was it? Decide. It's like, okay, now what are you thinking? What are you going to decide about this? What do you think the action should be? And then We do the action.
I think always bringing yourself back into the physical. I think how I would run through that, like kind of like what you're saying with the human thing, like orient your physical space. Like, where are you? What room are you in? Like, so then they can connect the familiarity with it, or if they're not in a familiar space, like, okay, feel your toes, feel your hands. Like you said, if you need to work like toes to up or whatever, like connecting the physical feeling to it, because I think when you're in that spiral, it just all feels like nothing is real.
It's outside of you.
Yeah, towards like bringing it back, like so specific and like dummied down
to the basics of like, where even are you right now?
Yeah,
can you tell me where you're at?
Because I think that it creates like a reality.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah,
because I think when people spiral like that, it's like this is all just, it gets too big. Yeah, to bring about like, what do your toes feel like? What are your, where are you sitting? What is the comfort of the chair?
I used to do that. So a gym teacher in high school taught us this in gym class about how to relax yourself. And
why do we stop doing this?
Yeah.
No,
it's like Foursquare.
This is what I'm talking. No, I haven't brought it up yet, but
okay. Ooh.
In gym class was awesome. No,
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
This was the only class I excelled in. Yeah. So. But it was laying on your back with your hands like on your pelvic area, I guess, and start at your toes and relax them. And when they're relaxed, now move up to your calves and relax them. And then move up to your thighs and relax them. I used to do this when I'd like on third shift, like I got to get up at 11 o'clock because I got court. So I got to get to bed right now.
Oh,
and
sure.
And then you get that. Yep. I got 3 hours to sleep. I got 2 hours, 45 minutes to sleep. If I get to sleep right now. So I would do that even in my 30s, like to relax myself. And then it's just like, I almost like, I could picture myself sinking into the bed.
Yeah.
Because everything was just relaxing.
Yeah.
You must have taught me and Kara that at some point, because that's how I, like, if I struggle falling asleep, that's what I do. And I don't think I would have, maybe I heard that.
Maybe I did say that.
You must have told me that, because I use that frequently. Or, like, I just listen to my breathing. That sometimes I do. Mm. But, yeah, I definitely use that all the time. That's, why did they not teach that anymore?
And if you just saw this gym teacher, he was not the guy that should be into this stuff. He was like the football coach, the basketball coach, the big ripped guy, in shape.
He's like, we're going to learn how to relax.
It was almost like a meditation thing. And we're like, what?
Should we like pump weights or something?
Should we like be playing kickball?
Yeah.
But it is like, that's not, I love those tools because I think giving people a protocol is helpful versus like relax. Like, well what does that even mean? What do you mean relax? It's like giving them tools that are tested or not. It's like
it's something you can do. It's action.
Yeah, it's an action. And I think people respond better to that.
Yeah, because telling somebody to relax doesn't get them to relax.
Well, because like, what would you do with that? I don't know. Just
if I could
feel
relax,
differently.
If you could tell me to relax and I could do it, I would have already done it.
Right.
Because I would have told myself that.
But that's like, okay, so why are we not... that's interesting. It's like, why do we stop? Maybe we are still focusing on that, and I'm just not seeing it, but it's like, wow, you learned that in gym? Like, we would have never learned that in gym?
No.
That's not something that would have been focused on, and yet kids are more stressed out and more overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It's like, is it because of life is getting crazier for our generation, or is it just because we're losing a lack of education on the very simple things like that?
Yeah, I don't think this was in the curriculum. I think he just like...
He went off on a whim that day.
Yeah, his girlfriend or wife read something. He's like, I'm going to try it at school. Yeah.
That's a good teacher, though.
He had so much anger boiling up in him every day that he had to find a way to calm himself down.
I'm just going to make him lay there for an hour.
Yeah.
Some kid just really pissed him off. He's like, I got to relax. Everybody lay down.
Yeah.
I didn't do any lesson plan today, so didn't set the cones up.
Well, I mean, even with us teaching, it's like one kid being crazy, and you're like, okay, everybody sit down. It's like everybody's going to chill for a second. It's like it's just one kid that's going psycho. So
But everybody pays.
It could easily have been just like there's one kid in the class. It could have been you. This kid has way too much energy. We need to just lay down.
I can tell you that. Yeah, it was. It's weird though that I still remember that.
Well, it's that like different thing that sticks out because
Yeah.
all the other days probably blend together because it's kind of the same things. That's the one that's like this was kind of weird.
Yeah,
So you remember that one.
That's cool that you utilize it though.
because it worked.
Yeah. And like the box breathing. It's like that's so funny that that's not mainstream knowledge, I guess.
I think.
And maybe it is. I
I don't know. I think a lot of people are so caught up in the holistic approach. And, if I take this, it will help me do this. Or if I just go to yoga, it would relax me. And yes, those things can help. But
it could be so much simpler than that.
like anything exercise related, your body adapts.
Sure.
So what happens when your body adapts to yoga 3 days a week?
Well, and I think like okay, great,
yeah.
you figured this out in this 1 hour class, but are you able to do it outside of this? Like no shit, you're relaxed in yoga. That's the whole point. But
It's like my grandpa used to say. People go to church on Sunday, and they're in there, and they're being so reverent, and they're being so,
Another person that's cutting the person off in traffic.
Yeah, loving God. They get out in the parking lot, it's like, come on, let's go,
Yeah.
asshole.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
immediate.
right.
Yeah.
Back to daily life.
Yeah. Yeah. Back to the regular habits, routines.
That's kind of we're swerving off topic, but we were talking about that on the walk. What is something that you feel is, because we weren't saying this for you specifically, we were just saying in general, like what we like to focus on. What is something that you think you, kind of like you live by example, or you lead by example? If you have anything, you don't have to have an answer, but is there anything that you think, like, you demonstrate the person that you think people should be, the way that people should act, and you do that?
My whole life, I don't know. That's a big question. But I think in the last 3 years since I changed the way that I eat and focused more on health, I'll say overall health, that gym, food. If we have such a huge diabetes, type 2 diabetic problem in this country, there's proof that it works. And not just me, but thousands of people have not overturned, but reversed diabetes, not to the point where you don't have diabetes, but you've controlled it. And we're getting nothing but fatter. So I think if I could have a soapbox to like spread the word,
Yeah.
and also like you were saying in a podcast or two ago about preaching or living what you preach,
Yeah.
I think that would be mine. You know, I don't know. I think with my life up to that point, I know it's hard because I had to be one person at work and another person at home.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No, that's the answer I was looking for. Like, just something that, like, you... I guess what I mean by that is, like, the living example of it is what we talked about a couple episodes of it, not wanting to be preachy, but also to be educational and give guidance and maybe a little bit more of a bridge and knowledge that they don't want to have to do the research on their own. It's one thing to talk about it, but it's another thing to actually live it and do it. And if people are wanting advice, like, it's one thing to just tell them what the advice is, but I think it's easier to just lead by example because people notice it versus just hearing what they should be doing.
That's also the crappy part about this being a diabetic is what works for me may not work for somebody else. Like I said, I've seen people that put on this group that like coffee raises their blood sugar.
Sure.
You know, and some people can get away with eating certain foods, and some people are just like, nope, that affects me too much.
But I think that's the same with fitness and health all around. Is it's so individual, but the theme is still you're focusing on what you're eating. You're not taking a pill to solve all your problems.
Correct.
You know, it's like, how many years were you telling me you're going to get diabetes? It's just in the genes.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's absolutely no way. That can't just be.
I refuse.
I did. I kept refusing. Like, that's not just going to like be the outcome or the answer of it's in my genes, so I'm going to get diabetes. Like, there has to be somewhat of a personal effect. Like, you did this somehow. Like, there's no way we're just fucked from the jump.
Right. Hereditary.
So I think the fact that you're focusing on it and you're not allowing that to just be the answer, and you're diving deeper into your own understanding of it and research, not just, well, the doctor says should just take a pill and that's just what it's going to be. Like, that I think is the theme that maybe you're trying to, my understanding of it is
Yes.
you're trying to portray or to show. Because, yeah, it's like you can't do, well, I eat this and this and this, and that will work for you. But the theme of question what you're being told and take responsibility, maybe.
That's the huge one. Take responsibility. Yeah.
And not just allowing it to be.
Right. Like when I first started doing it, it
You're
was
screwed.
eating to my meter, they call it. Your blood test glucose monitor thing. You know, and that was the thing. It was like I found foods that did not spike my blood sugar. So I knew, like, I could eat eggs and I could eat the yogurt, and that, you know, it didn't spike me more than 20 points for my meal. I knew chicken didn't. I knew ground beef didn't. So that's all I eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's definitely not fun. I mean, it sucks getting out of the car and smelling Applebee's.
Yeah.
You know, or driving by McDonald's and smelling that and knowing how good those tasted, you know.
Yeah.
But they're having the memories of eating fajitas and chips and salsa. But you do it for the longevity or the health of it. I don't know. I mean,
Well, and I think diabetic or not, like, everybody's got to go through that. It's like, just because you smell donuts doesn't mean you can go have a bunch of donuts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to have self-control. You have to find a way to pick healthy foods and do that and make the sacrifice to not have a little bit of mouth pleasure and have some health. That's
Well, it's like,
I mean, it's part of what we were talking about too, of like the basics. So it's like, it's just common sense.
right.
Yeah, that's trash for you. Don't eat it. This is good for you. Eat it.
So
There
think
you
about
go.
where you guys are at 26, and it took me till 50 to get to.
You were lied to your whole life, though. Like,
I never
they
did.
made
I never
ser-
did anything. I knew eating donuts all the time. And
Yeah, let's
chips and
not
salsa
well, no,
was
but
not
like
good, and pasta.
the commercials of everything, like cereal is super healthy for you, and you're getting this much fiber and this and that. And I think
yeah,
the
but I ate
culture
20
was.
Tigers.
I think the culture though was we believe them. Why would they lie to us?
why would they put something on the shelf that's going to kill us?
Yeah, or like they're saying in the commercial, they're advertising it as like something that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they trick us? Because the generation before that was like you're milking your own cows and butchering your own chickens and whatever. That's
Right.
like
You're not listening to anybody. It's your
Yeah.
own fault if you're.
now it's the convenience and the simplicity started to come. It's like, oh, you don't have to milk a cow or butcher a chicken. Here you go. Here it is. And it's like, okay, cool. Oh, it's already cooked for me. Wow. Oh, it's already seasoned for me. Oh, it's already got barbecue sauce all over it for me.
Yeah.
Like,
Margarine is better than butter.
Yeah.
Eggs are bad for you.
yeah, the cholesterol and
Yeah.
it's just the campaigns to.
Eat grape nuts.
Yep.
But
But I think our generation is like, oh, everybody's lying to you all of the time. You can't believe anything.
Yes, but you guys have also dug deeper into this stuff, and maybe that's having the internet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah, for
there
sure.
was there was no internet when I was growing up.
Yeah.
It's what I've been saying so often recently. Is like information is so available to us.
But there's also you have to pick and choose what's the good information, what's bad information.
That yes, true. And
But
you know,
so you have to have that basic understanding of health before you can just go to the first Google search result and click on that.
well,
I think
yeah.
everybody has the basic understanding of health. Get exercise, eat whole natural foods, sleep.
That is a thing within the last 10 years.
Interesting.
The whole natural foods. Exercise, yeah, that's always been pushed by our gimmicky thing. But I think the whole natural foods has really come into play.
Because we're not actually getting that now to where you guys were before.
There's more of it.
Well, I don't know if I grew up in that era, but maybe it's just the way that I
Like
was parented.
there was a lot. Like I guess I just think of what's in the grocery store now, and you have cereals, a whole aisle of cereal and different flavors, and it's like Oreo cereal. It's like you're making cookies just smaller, and you're calling it a breakfast food. It's like and Pop-Tarts and granola bars and whatever weird combination of like pancake mix, but it's Twix.
Yeah.
It's like I don't think you guys really had that.
No, but there was definitely. I mean, I grew up eating Frosted Flakes,
Oh, okay, yeah,
you know, and there was the Hostess cupcakes and Twinkies.
Twinkies, which
You
is
know.
not a food that lasts forever. It's actually honey. In case you needed that for your Tuesday trivia.
In case you wanted to bug somebody at next family dinner.
But I think, like, you guys have put in the work on your own to kind of dispel the myths you're being told. So think of where your kids are going to be at.
Yeah.
It's like breaking the chain.
I
You
wonder.
guys
it's-
broke the chain in your 20s. I was 50 before I broke the chain.
I think that's a twofold though. Is our kids will have so much information, but they'll also be coming into a world that's like we're okay with everyone lying to us. It's like they're not gonna. They're farther away from our grandparents, where they grew up on a farm, growing their own food and producing their own food. They're another generation separated from that. That all they know from grandparents on down is you buy whatever in the store. Granted, do I hope our kids specifically do not have that? No, but like they're going to be surrounded more of this is just what's available.
and what
And
they
that
were
might even
raised
get
on.
worse.
What were they raised on?
Yeah,
You
hopefully
know, when they go to a friend's house, are they like, ugh, this doesn't even taste good?
Yeah, I hope. That'd be awesome. That's how you were.
Mm-hmm.
You tasted something processed, you're like, this is a chemical.
Yeah.
I didn't really even like the Mexican restaurant the other night.
The chips and salsa were
It's just
good,
all
but everything
bland.
else.
It was not enough, I'll tell you that.
No.
I could have had your plate and my plate.
Well, and we were talking about on the walk of, I was just saying like I'm just kind of out on going out to get Mexican food. Like I'd rather make it at home. It's way better at home. It tastes way better. You get as much as you want, and like every time we eat out, when it's like this is just bland.
Yeah.
That's what I was telling you guys when I went to Taco Bell
Yeah.
for the first
It
time.
was like-
and it was just like, oh, God, it just...
It's just like
Tastes-
mush in your
it
mouth.
tastes
Yeah.
fake.
I mean,
Yeah.
it tasted good, but I could just feel the, like, you're right, it was pasty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, this is not real.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It just tasted...
Well, and they never do more of the good stuff. They do like more of the stuff that who cares about. It's
Right.
like a ton of tortilla with a bunch of beans and rice, and then it's like a tiny sliver of chicken.
Yes.
It's like I don't want to.
They do it with filler.
The
Put
chips
filler
and
in it.
salsa were good the other night. But besides the chips and salsa, which is also something like just buy a bag of chips and salsa. Like I could have had that at home and
Yeah.
heat it up in the oven to make
Right.
them warm to toast them. But like I'd rather do the burritos and tacos here.
Yeah.
It's a bland thing. I
Yeah.
think we so crazy. This is such a tangent, but like we so crazy season things. that when you put it out or like when you go out, it's like, I could use more of
Well, because they're making it
flavor.
in gallons. So
Yeah.
it's like they're not
They're not
that much
roasting
about-
garlic and roasting.
No.
Oh no, they're
No.
using garlic powder
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was put in the factory.
But what was I going to say about that? Oh, what we've been talking about on the walks is we think there is kind of going back to the lead by example thing, but it seems like a lot of consistent problems that people are having or people have, that whether it's we talk to or we notice or we hear on podcasts or whatever, it seems like the common sense thing that you're talking about of get a little bit of exercise, eat a little bit healthier, get outside, drink water, that would help a majority of people's problems, even if their problems are like actual, not health, but like life issues.
Yeah.
It's like, I see most people as like, you're a low dose of sick all the time. Your body is sick. Your brain is sick. So if your body and brain are a little bit sick, how are you going to deal with the work situation that you don't like, the spouse situation that you don't like, if you're a kid, something happening at school or friends, you're dealing with it. Like, because I thought about that because of me being sick recently. I'm like, it's all out the window. Work sucks. My brain isn't working good. I'm messing things up. I don't have like a zest for anything. Like, everything just seems shitty. It was like, okay, so if people are experiencing a low dose of this all of the time, they're dealing with life that's difficult with a sick mind and body.
And you know what they do? They find another job. They get divorced. They find another partner.
They avoid all of it.
Yeah, they're thinking, if I change my marriage, it will be better. If I just go to a different job, it'll be better.
Yeah.
And look at our society. It's a throwaway society.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, we've talked about it a lot of like, there's no like employee benefits or loyalty. You get like the benefits from the loyalty or whatever. It's like, we'll just pay you a couple more cents or dollars, but you're not going to get the retirement. You're not going to get...
Because we know you're not going to stay.
Yeah, you're not going to stay. Exactly.
And I get it. Why would they? Why would I supply a pension if you're not going to be here for your whole career?
Yeah.
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 But I feel like it's a connection to the exercising, eating a little bit cleaner, going outside, all of those, getting better quality sleep. Those things.
Now I have to go to work and do this other stuff.
But it's like those things seem. I don't know if it's for people. It seems too boring or too simple. That's like, well, no, all of those things aren't gonna make my relationship better. Those aren't correlated. Those things aren't going to make me feel better about my job or my career or my sibling or my spouse or my school situation. All of that seems like, well, those are real world problems. This is just like something you do to be healthy. But not saying like, but you're not healthy. Your brain isn't healthy. Your body isn't healthy. That those things could actually greatly change your life.
But what type of society do we live in right now? The quick fix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can take a vitamin and that will raise my B12.
And that's where I have such a fight back on that though. It's like, but it's not.
But people don't know that. And how many people know that they're inflamed, that they're bloated, that they've got digestive issues?
Yeah.
People are just like, well, that's just what happens when you get older. You turn 30 and everything starts going downhill.
Yeah.
I have this body because I have a kid. I had a kid. Or I've got a dad bod because I finish my kid's plate all the time.
Yeah.
It's an excuse.
Yeah.
I'm eating for 2.
Right.
So I gained 40 pounds during pregnancy.
Yeah.
It's...
Yeah.
But that's what we were questioning is like...
We're trying to combat that of like, stop using the excuses. Stop using the excuses, and then for the people that are trying to change things, it is.
Those
it's like
are
you
not
said,
like those are not the go-tos that they're going to.
No, well, it's kind of like what we were saying of I have a work problem, so I need to figure out. I need to like, the work is what needs to change, or something at work needs to change. When it's like, well, no, you sleep like shit, you eat like shit, you don't exercise, you have a bad attitude because of all those things.
Mm-hmm.
That if you shored up one of those things, work might get a little bit easier. You shore up two of them, it's even easier.
Or
But
you have a
they
clearer
don't-
mind to be able to make those decisions.
Yeah, but I think it's almost like they don't think that correlates, so that those things won't fix the work issue. The work issue is the work issue. And it's like, but is it? Or is it because you're pissy and have an attitude all the time, and it's because you sleep like shit, you eat like shit, you don't work out, you don't exercise? That is like, it's the hill that we're going to die on. Is like,
Correct.
That's our soapbox.
yeah, do those three things, and everything in your life is going to get better. And then you can start to get into the more nitty gritty stuff that, okay, now you're getting 1% better, 2% better. But those three things, it's like, you start exercising, 33% better. Your life's probably going to improve. And then you can go to the next thing, or go to the next thing. But it's like, well, why is my marriage falling apart? Or why am I angry at my kids all the time? Why does work suck? It's like, well, you're kind of low dose sick all the time because you're not doing any of these things. And now you're trying to rationalize it with that brain that isn't working properly. Of course, you're going to look at these things and go like, well, I just got to change them or avoid them or somehow get out.
People don't internalize, they externalize. It's not what I'm doing wrong. It's wrong with this job, or it's what's wrong with my spouse, or what's wrong with my relationship with my kids.
Yeah.
It's not like what I'm doing, or how I'm feeling and how that's entering into the equation.
Yeah.
I agree with what you said, though. It's even if you fixed one of those things, say you started exercising, or you started eating better, or you started being happy with yourself. Maybe that's the thing that you need to get started. And maybe then you realize, okay, I'm starting to feel a little better now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And even if you stop eating processed foods and you start feeling better or having a better outlook on whatever, pick a problem. Maybe you dig deeper into that, and then that carries you into, well, if I exercise, I'm feeling better now. Maybe I'll try something different. I'll try something else to add on to that.
Yep.
I'm losing weight because I started eating better. Maybe now I want to get rid of this flab and I want to tone up a little bit. And I hate the word tone, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to be the skinny fat person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I want to get some definition now. So maybe now that's the step to getting into going to a gym or doing stuff at home in front of your TV, doing yoga from a YouTube video.
Yeah.
You know?
We were just talking about that recently of like anybody that we talk to that's doing something and to try to move that forward, it's like just almost like just promote that and be happy with that and don't put in like, well, actually exercising would be better or focusing on your diet would be better. It's like if they're just really into supplements right now and bettering that, it's like that could be their step in the door and get that ball rolling. It's like they need some momentum. So if they're picking the easiest thing that they're actually interested in and want to do, that's going to get them to go. To where you're trying to push exercise on them and they hate it, they're probably going to put the wall up and be done with that within a month or whatever.
January.
Yeah. If it's just supplements that you want to start, that's where your interest is at. Okay, let's start with that and go with that. And then exactly what you're talking about. Well, now the supplements, maybe they're sleeping better because of taking melatonin or something. Well, now that they're sleeping better, they have more energy and they're a little bit happier and they realize that something good happened that, well, maybe I'll try to like exercise now or do something. Or maybe it's like, well, what if this supplement works? Okay, then we do this. Oh, that didn't really work. So, okay, not that one. But just getting the ball rolling. If you try to give them the thing that they're going to reject the most, it's like, it's not going to help them.
Right. And I think a lot of people get discouraged because they don't see immediate results.
Yeah. Yeah. And the bang for your buck ones are, like, they're not going to give immediate results. Yeah. Like,
it took me a month at least to get from burning carbs as fuel to burning fat as fuel. It took my body a month to change that. And there was a whole host of things that were, it's like, along with that, it's like...
Do you get headaches?
Not right away.
Okay.
But after that month, when I didn't have I was drinking more water and flushing out the salt, and I wasn't getting the salt in the processed foods.
Yeah.
Then I started getting the headaches.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what was going on. And I never had, like they say, like this keto flu where you get like fuzzy headed, and I never had that I know of. I mean, maybe I did, I don't know, but I never could tell that. But it was just, I felt such low energy that I just was tired all the time. And it was just that I had no sugar, and the fats weren't burning yet as fuel.
yeah.
And my workout sucked. I'd fall asleep at the drop of a hat. And it was like, it's like going to the bathroom. I was constipated all the time.
Yeah.
And that was probably due to the salt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't hydrated at all.
Right. Yeah. So, and then it was probably a month when I started buying like those ketosis strips that you'd pee on.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, you're 5% in ketosis, or it was 5 something. I don't know what the number was. Then I was like, okay, all right. So then I was like, and it was just like up from there. And then I started dropping the weight.
Yeah.
And then the doctor takes me off this med, and then this med, and then this med, and then this med. And so, within 3-4 months, I was off every med I was on and feeling good. I was trimmed down. I didn't have that gut anymore that I thought I didn't have, but I did. But looking at the pictures.
But it's been a progression.
Yeah.
Well,
From there.
that's something too. It's like people just don't do things for long enough.
Yeah.
It's like, What if you would have quit at 2 weeks?
You're like,
A lot of people quit at 2 weeks or are done at 2 weeks.
I'm
or
getting
3
headaches,
weeks.
so that must be it's bad.
Right, or all the signs thinking like this is not working. This is not working. I have low energy now. Like this is not going to work for me.
I just kept on that Facebook group.
Yeah.
And all of those questions had been asked as I'm reading these posts. People just like me going through this that I never asked any questions. I was just a reader, basically. What do they call it? Scroller?
Yeah, but you're doing...
Scroller or whatever.
That is your version of doing the research in a way.
Yeah, that's what got me started, yeah.
You're expanding your knowledge of like, okay, I'm not going to just, I feel a headache, so I'm giving up. It's like, is there a reason for the headache? Like, what is causing this?
That took me a long time to figure out.
But that's still, I think, where...
It's the persistence.
Yeah.
To figure it out. Well, and I think like with, that taking a month and then 3 months to start feeling even better, it's like... That's the advice all the time with exercise, diets, and sleep is like, you just have to keep going. You just have to keep going. And they are constantly like, yeah, but this is happening, that's happening, it's not working, and this and that. You just have to keep going. You have to keep going. It's just the person that is persistent and won't stop that ends up getting the results, no matter how long it takes. And you have to do that. It's like if you try to change your sleep routine and you do it for a week and then you're like, I'm getting worse sleep and whatever. Well, it's like, yeah, you did it for a week. You got to do it for as long as till it works, basically.
Right.
And same with the exercise, same with the diet. But I think people, it's like you said earlier, it's the immediate result. It's the quick result. Mm-hmm. Well, keto didn't work for me. I didn't lose weight. How long did you do it for? A month. It's like, well, you've been living for 40 years. You think 1 month of a diet is going to change what you've done for 40 years? Like, no, you have to do it for a long period of time for all of these things to happen and to get all the benefits. It's the same with exercising. You work out for a month, you think you're going to be able to compete in the strongman competition?
Right.
So why do you think diet is any different?
My thought is that people just think it's too simple for that to change their life.
You want to hear my soapbox? Stop thinking you're so special and unique. You're just like everybody else.
Yeah.
How do you get healthy? You exercise, you eat well, and you sleep good. It's those three things for every single person. You're not special. You don't have a different, I need this certain pill or this certain exercise routine or this or that. And nothing works for me. It's like, no, you think you're unique. You think you're special.
Yeah.
And you want the easy ticket out.
The 30-day challenge.
Yeah. You want Willy Wonka's golden ticket and somebody to come hand it to you and you don't have to do shit for it.
What do you think? I think this plays into it, but I want to get your guys' opinion. You don't see results right away, and you don't get that feedback from your coworkers or your family like, oh, you look great. Because you may not see that in the first 30 days. And it's like, what am I doing? It's not even working for me.
Yeah.
And quit.
Well,
Give
and
up.
a lot of the time, too, those 30-day challenges are way too fucking intense.
It's a crash diet.
Yeah.
It's you're changing your entire life for 30 days, and you talk about the workout ones too. It's like you're sore day one, and then for the next 29 days, you have to try to muster up the strength to battle through that. Like,
Yeah, when you're holding onto the toilet seat to sit down
Yeah.
on it.
and then you're seeing like all of the fit people that you want to look like, and they're like barely doing anything at the gym, and you're like, what the hell? Why do I have to bust my ass and they look like that and do that? It's like, yeah, because they've been doing it for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to get it all done in 30 days. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
I think for me with that question, because I actually don't get a lot of that. Like,
What?
I don't get a lot of the, you look great, or whatever. Because I don't know if it's just because the people I'm around.
I'm saying transformation. If you were 40 pounds overweight and you went on this crash exercise / diet, whatever plan, and in the first week or two, you're not getting people coming up to you and validating why the work you're putting into it, you're going to quit. You don't have a transformation.
But that's what I'm saying, is that would be my advice, is what I choose to look at, because I don't get people complimenting me on my physique really that often. And I don't know if it's because
you don't
it's
talk
just,
to people.
it's not what. Well, no, because like I get people commenting on my looks, but it's never like, oh, you look in shape, or you like, what do you like? No one ever asks me what I do for workouts or eating. They always ask him, but they never ask me.
Okay.
I get more, and this is where I am trying to answer your question of like what I choose
I
to
don't
look.
feel like I get asked that ever.
You said you did at the gym.
Just the kettlebell one.
No, but like, we'll have people on the work weekends like, will you write me a workout, or will you do a workout with me? I would never get that.
Well, I think that's because they know that I was a personal trainer.
But I talk about fitness constantly.
Yeah, but they don't know that
people.
you were a personal trainer.
Maybe you need to remind people you are a personal trainer.
Oh, I do all the time.
You need a
I
shirt,
do
a t-shirt.
at any
Yeah.
chance I can. Because I love talking about that with people, so I try to bring it up as much as possible. But I don't know if it's just like the way that I look, people don't want to look like. So they're like, well, I don't want to follow what you're doing because I don't want to look like that. But the advice that is always asked of me or searched out, or the compliments that I get, are about like how I eat, or how does my hair look, or my skin look, or my energy,
That's
or my
just as good.
That's what I'm saying. I try to focus on that of, I know that my ability to show up at work really energized and focused is because of my health protocol. So I get compliments on that all the time. So I just go, yeah, it's because I do all these things. So if I'm in a 75 hard or a 30-day challenge type of thing, and they're like, well, I'm not seeing results, that would be my advice, are you noticing you're sleeping better? Are you making better choices? Do you have more energy? And then are you getting compliments on that of like, wow, you just seem like you're happier?
No, because people look external. How do I look in the mirror? What does the scale say?
And that's what I'm saying. That would be my advice, is look for the other things.
Yeah.
You can't just go off of what does the scale say and what do I look like in the mirror, because maybe that's going to change slower. Or in my case, maybe people don't compliment you on that. That's not something that people search out with you specifically. That maybe it is like, you just always have good energy. It's like, well, that's the same thing. You're giving me basically the same compliment of, I'm in the gym doing the work and eating healthy, and that's why I have this energy, and that's why I have this attitude, and you're recognizing that. The same way that Cheney always gets compliments on his looks.
Literally never.
And maybe it's because he doesn't get the compliments on the attitude. So he's like, we gotta point to something.
I gotta think of something.
Yeah.
I don't know where you think these compliments are at.
Oh my God. The first competition.
Yeah, everybody's coming for you. Just like, he's so jacked.
Well, yeah, it's because I'm the new person.
No.
That's all gone now.
We've had plenty new people, and no one's commenting on their physical appearance. Or their musculature physical appearance.
One out of the last 7 years we've been together, that has been the one time.
But
and we're going to ride that forever.
You guys are.
But people come to you searching for advice on fitness a lot. Whether it's family members or like what they're doing with their workouts, or people like that we just come across. Like, people aren't doing that with me.
A lot?
I guess everyone's coming to you for advice and no one else. So they have to be searching something, or they're noticing something with you that they're like, this guy might know something.
Yeah, I don't know.
No one's coming to me.
Maybe it's something I just don't register. But
yeah, I think you're right. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't ever.
I think you're used to that. You're used to people coming to you with questions. So I think that's just a part of my daily life.
To where most people don't get that. I don't think.
No.
Especially the people that like come to us frequently. It's like they're not asking anybody else for advice on that, or
you're the go-to.
Yeah.
Just take family along.
I believe you. I don't register it. Because I'm sitting here going like, I can't remember anybody who's come to me for something.
I did it today at the gym.
With what? No, you just wanted
the back.
Compare sizes.
No, the back thing. I said, I'm doing cable rows because I want to build a wider back. And you said you'd get better bang for your buck doing pull downs twice.
I guess I don't count that.
Well,
how do you not?
I'm going to have to start going, thank you, Cheney, for your expert advice.
At the beginning and at the end.
Yeah.
Cheney, this is coming
to
you for advice.
I need your advice, your expert advice.
Mark it down. Make a tally. Well, here's some more advice then. We came up with this little rule or thing that I think would be helpful.
Going back to the giving protocols.
And it's actionable, and it goes to the simplicity and the boringness again too, so nobody's going to do it. But we were thinking of, how do you start doing stuff?
You guys, we.
Yeah, you're like, don't add me into this unless I sign off on this.
I don't want to put my name on this yet.
Bullshit protocol. For people that have a extremely hard time getting started with any of it or keeping anything going, we are trying to think of the most like easing into it thing that you could possibly do.
Well, because it's also kind of like what we've been talking about with the program, like the 30-day challenge. People like a system.
An end date
to follow.
And
they
rules,
like an end date.
Well, yeah, they like an end
so they can go back to normal.
Well, and what we were kind of... and this is like... anybody can do this with pretty much any part of something that they want to get better at or do or whatever. But in this health area, literally just going 1 minute or one thing, one meal, one snack, 1 minute of sleep, and just compounding that every day. So taking exercise, for example, do 1 minute of exercise. Do a 1 minute plank. That's your exercise for the day. The
do
second
squats
day...
for a minute.
2 minutes.
So it's like a couch to 5K.
Sure. But you're literally just adding a minute every day. You want to get better sleep? Start, okay, what do you usually go to bed? 1 minute earlier than that. Start your sleep routine or get into bed, whatever it is that you do. The next day, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. At the end of the month, you're at 30 minutes. But you've only gone incrementally 1 minute every day.
I like that in the end, but day to day, again, with people having short attention spans and not seeing the progress right away, is 1 minute or at the end of the week 5 minutes, 7 minutes gonna make a difference?
No, but
Yeah.
you're not looking for a difference.
Well, but it is.
I
But
should
people-
I should not say that so
people-
blanket statement. You doing a minute of exercise one day or even up to 10 minutes, like, are you going to notice a physical alteration of your body?
No.
No.
But say my sleep is my thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the week, I've gained 6 minutes of sleep, 7 minutes of sleep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Am I going to feel differently in the morning from 7 minutes extra sleep?
I don't know if you'll feel a difference in the morning, but I think it's, again, with all of this, and I don't want to cut you off, it's all of the compounding of what these things do. That's why we're talking about this is not just like a simple, okay, you're just eating better, sleeping better, and working out, and that's like all you got to do. It's because of what all those things do. Through getting only 7 more minutes of sleep, you're creating routine. You're creating a behavior. You're creating
building a habit.
You're creating a habit and the trust in yourself of, cool,
Yeah.
I wanted to do something and I did it. That's creating confidence.
Okay.
That's creating self-esteem.
Now I
That's
see it.
creating somewhat of like a, okay, I did it for a week. How many people can't even do something for a full week before they give up? So
Yeah.
it's like if they have a rule to follow, I think that's also a benefit of, yeah, same thing with the working out. 7 minutes of doing something, is that going to make you lose weight? Probably not. But you're creating the behavior and the trust in yourself of like, you're building confidence. And then that building confidence, that new level of confidence will help you go for that 30 minutes of working out or that hour of working out
Is
or
it
that one more meal.
thing, or you do sleeping, eating, exercise?
You could,
1
however
minute?
you want to do it.
So you could
If
do
you-
one thing, or you could do 4 things.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
start with the one that kind of we were talking about earlier. Start with the one that you're most interested in or you think would be the easiest for you to get into anyways, and do that one and do 30 days of that and see if that's still going. And then maybe you complete the 30 days. Well, you've done 30 minutes of exercise. Now just keep doing 30 minutes of exercise
And focus on the sleep.
and now focus on the sleep. Or start it all over and go 1 minute of exercise, 1 minute of sleep. And do that. 2 minutes of exercise, 2 minutes of sleep. Now you've built up 2 of those things to 30 minutes. You're doing both of those and start it all over if you want. Do 3 then. But
So-
it's
numbers
that, like you
and
said, it's
deadlines.
the confidence, the trust in yourself. It's also like, it's easy, but it's also challenging enough to add a minute every time that it's like, oh, I really don't want to do 5 minutes, but I just did 4 minutes yesterday, so I can do 1 more minute. That's not that big a deal. Then
So
you go ahead
here's
and do that.
my question then. I love that. So I'm the typical American who wants to lose 20 pounds. Is that reasonable?
Yeah.
20 pounds in a month? Or how
I
long?
want to lose
Just in
20
general.
pounds for Toby's wedding in May.
Okay.
Let's just throw a thing out there. It's what, January now? So,
Basically February.
okay, yeah. So
When
I've
this
got
comes out,
4
February.
months. I've got 4 months to lose 20 pounds for whoever's whatever get together.
Wait, yeah, this will come out in February. Oh, I can't believe the Detroit Lions and the Baltimore Ravens are in the Super Bowl.
So I think people be like, I don't know which to do. Are they all equal?
Yeah, all of them.
So it doesn't matter what they do, or do you have to tell them, let's start with just the sleep thing,
I think any of them.
or do
Whichever.
you do row your boat? You get where I'm going with this?
Gently down the stream. No, I don't.
Okay, row your boat gently down the stream, Maryland. But no, you said row your boat. Like, so after I do diet week 1, no processed foods.
Yes.
Week 2, now I'm adding diet and sleep. Week 3, I'm adding diet, sleep, and exercise.
You could do that.
Yeah. That's what I like about it is like,
So it's like a trundle or a
However,
ladder type effect?
kind of like whatever your level of trust and commitment you think you can give yourself. Because that might be challenging for people of doing that many things. Because now you're talking about like, I'm getting to 20 minutes of exercise, 10 minutes of sleep, 3 meals a week that I need to eat healthy. Like it compounds quickly. It's like 30 days, you go from 1 minute of exercise to 30.
Yeah.
And same with sleep. That's like doing that many at the same time might be challenging unless you have already gotten to, I'm doing 30 minutes of this and that's consistent, and I've been able to stay consistent with that.
So do you, at 30 days, do you just stay there or do you keep going?
I think that's where you can have flexibility.
Or do you
could
introduce
go,
the next thing?
Yeah, you can introduce the next thing. You could go, I'm going to do 31 minutes of, I'm not ready for the diet and sleep shit yet. I'm going to keep going with this workout thing. So now it's 31 minutes. Now it's 32, 33, and you're just going into the next. Or if you're like, I'm ready to add something else, let's do the sleep thing. And you could go 30 minutes of exercise, 1 minute of sleep.
Yeah.
And just keep doing it however you want to do it. But I think the slow, incremental, and building the habit every single day you're doing this, but it's not like some of these challenges where it's like hour workout 4 times a week.
You're going from 0 to 100.
Yeah, you're literally going 0 to 1.
Yeah.
And then 1 to 2, 1 to 3, or 2 to 3.
Or like a beach body, what was it, P90X?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people start out with that and just like,
Yep.
within the first couple
They
days?
kill you in the first 10 seconds.
Right.
It's mostly for people that are starting from 0. And how do I start? Well, they say you should get 30 to 60 minutes of activity, and they go in and they maybe kind of do it, but it might also be too intense or too much volume. Or like, well, they say I need to get 8 hours of sleep and I only get 6, so I guess I got to start going to bed 2 hours early. Who the hell's going to do that and keep that going?
Nobody.
That's why I also love this as a protocol, because there's always a way that you are technically starting from 0. It's like whatever your 0 is, that's your maintenance. So it's, even if you're listening like, well, I wouldn't benefit from that. Like, I work out 3 days a week and I get a decent amount of sleep and I eat healthy majority of the time. It's like, okay, well, what's still an uptick of that? It's like, okay, I would say I'm someone that works out very consistently, and so it's like I don't really need to add minutes to my workout, but can I add
A yoga session.
something else that's going to benefit me? Can I add a little bit more of, maybe I'm researching my workouts, or we eat pretty clean, but am I looking deeper into the micronutrients? Am I getting a blend of the vitamins that I need, or an understanding of the vitamins?
1 minute of research.
Can I take 1 minute to research that, or
Yep.
1 minute of sleep, or 1 minute to understand sleep better? Like,
Then the next day, 2 minutes of it.
you can utilize this at any point in your...
Well, it's like, I've always wanted to read.
Learn how to read?
Yeah.
Yeah. Never learned. But it's like, start with a minute. If it's a skill you're wanting, okay, I need to sit down and do a minute of reading.
Mm-hmm.
And then sit down and do 2 minutes of reading. Or like, I want to limit screen time. So I'm going to consciously put my phone down and sit here for a minute with nothing going on. And then the next day, I'm going to consciously put my phone down and do 2 minutes of it. And just keep that going. It's like any little thing you can pick out and do with this.
I love that, but here's where I think, and this is why most people, by the end of January, they've lost their New Year's resolution to going to the gym or eating healthy, is that you get so excited about something new. At least I do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I go balls to the wall.
Yeah.
And then
Most people do
what
that.
happens? But see, so most people do that. Would that be a struggle getting somebody to just start out with training wheels? And like I say all the time, the crawl, the walk, the run.
Yeah.
Most people get so excited about it, like, okay, January 1st, I'm losing weight this year. And you go in there sprinting.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the month, you're just like, screw this. I don't have the time. I'm sore. I'm tired because nothing else has changed in my life. I'm still eating shitty. I'm still sleeping less. I love the premise of it. I just wonder if you could get people to start slow and build.
Oh, yeah. It's so not exciting. I
Yeah,
think that's
right. There
that's
you go. That's
like
the perfect example. Yes.
And like
I think that's this
why
whole
people want-
podcast.
that's-
It's not exciting. It's not fun. But if you do it, that you're going to get the results from it. Like you have now gained the habit after 30 days and can continue to do that. But it's the hard part is getting anybody in the door to do it. It's like what all the personal trainers say of like, I can either sell you the big grand plan and whatever and get you super excited and to sign the paper, or I can tell you the reality of what's going to happen.
You're not going to lose
And no
30
one's
pounds
ever
in
going to
30
do personal
days.
training.
Yeah, and you're probably not going to want to sign the paper, but you kind of have to put your trust in me then. And that's what this is. It's like, yeah, it sounds stupid, but you fast forward to 30 days or 60 days, and now you're doing an hour of exercise, and it's hasn't really been that difficult. It's been a small challenge every day, and you've overcome it every day. It's like, now you have the habit forever.
I think you have to have either a reputation or success stories. I mean, you got to start somewhere. Everybody starts at square one. But I think that's where who's the P90X guy, or the Billy Blanks, or the Jane Fondas, I'm dating myself now here, or the Galad guys. They had that reputation and the name recognition to like, well, they've been here for a long time and they've got a lot of success stories to do this. The hard part is starting out. And you have to start from square one. Inevitable. Everything starts from square one. Bezos.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what do you say in the podcast? I told our investors that there's a
30% chance this is going to work.
Yeah. You're going to get your money back.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And look where he's at now. So I think the hard part is just getting people to buy into it.
I think that goes back, there's twofold to that. I think that's what goes back to the living by example question that I had is, even if with us talking about this, or all three of us, the way that we live can somewhat show an insight into, that's our credibility.
But we didn't start with that program.
Kind of, though. In some way, that is what worked.
I didn't.
How not?
'Cause
Building a base?
Yeah, but my base was not starting out 1 minute a day.
It doesn't need to be that
The girls are old enough to play with them by themselves now in the basement, and I can go in and work out for a half hour. It wasn't the baby steps. I guess you could say it was compared to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
But I want a transformation picture from Courtney on day 1 and Courtney on day 90. Or day 30, you know. You're getting 30 more minutes of sleep. Does your eyes look better in the morning? Are you not so puffy? You know what I mean? Or are you down 4 pounds? And you know, that's why those Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig.
Yeah, because they did the
my
pants
pants
thing.
are so loose now
Yeah.
after 30 days. You know?
Yeah.
I think
That's the struggle. But that's the struggle with anything I think innovative, which I think this is innovative, is that you have no track history.
Yeah. But again, that's where I go back to the living by example. Is I don't think we can't like debunk all of the bullshit that's out there. We just have to keep overpowering it, or try to overpower it with the correct information. That I think this is just a silly thing that we talk about on the podcast of like, oh, this is a cool protocol and I think it would be great. It's like, it's not for anything or anything of seriousness, but it's like, okay, just give 2% better information. And you said it from the jump before you even went into it. Like, this is boring. No one's going to do it. We know that going into it. But just
this is not exciting.
Continuing to, what's your integrity? What do we align with? It's that. It's not the 75 hard or the 30-day challenge. It's the consistent, slow. It's like how many things from Mind Pump you could almost say quotes because they say the same goddamn thing over and over again. But it's the silly rules that make sense and that are still true. Now going into the very specifics of your question of like, people want the jump and they want to just go crazy, and that's typically, no matter what I think your prototype is of a human. Everybody always just wants to like sprint right away because they get excited about it. My suggestion with that was focus on one thing that you're going to do the little increments, and then do one thing balls to the walls. You're going to fizzle out and you're not going to stick with it. I promise you that. But have then one thing that you're doing slow incremental changes on.
So I'm going to put myself out there. I will do the sleep.
Okay.
When you get home.
Yeah. It's a week. I got 5 days.
Yeah, don't do it when you're on the drive.
We got too much Ray Donovan to watch for you to start this now.
This
He
is
said
Erin.
This is day one, Erin.
Why you acting
Check
like
the
you're on the
skin,
Alone
check the
show?
puffiness.
7 hours of sleep, day 1, Erin.
This is day 2. I caught a squirrel with a rock.
I'm really hungry. I feel
I'm really hungry. I'm gonna try some fishing later.
I gotta get my shelter built.
Yeah. I'm thinking an A-frame. We'll see how much energy I have though.
And if you haven't watched the Alone show, this is going completely over your head and it makes no sense. You sound crazy.
But you gotta watch it because it's awesome. I just need to kill a moose.
Yeah.
I'll win this game.
$1 million on my mind. Just $1 million on my mind.
What am I even out here for? Any closing thoughts?
No, I like this episode. This was fun.
This is a good one.
Yeah.
This is a
Although
good one. That'll
anything
get 4 views.
Anything fitness.
That's where, yeah.
That's-
Those are
I
always
love
the
it.
ones that we like the
But
most.
that is a great example though. Like closing on that. Like you were someone that you were into it, but kind of.
But I was an athlete from the time I could walk.
Sure. Okay.
I mean,
Okay. Michael Jordan. Okay.
no, I never made anything of
Michael
myself, but I was always into sports. I was always,
Sure.
that was my childhood.
Okay.
I was just playing sports.
Yeah. True.
And then my job was a sport.
Well, now we're getting into the Brian Callen debate.
Sitting in a squad eating
sport?
Glazers?
Yeah. How many can I eat?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the hot dog champion?
Okay, closing in on this then, because I just rewatched this little to make a clip earlier. This is my thing that I'm sitting on lately, and
Right.
again, continuing with this theme. If I think it's very irresponsible to not have your kids be active.
Agree.
Okay, never mind. Closing out there.
End of
done.
episode.
Why?
We're done.
No, why?
Because I just didn't think that it would be that clean of a. You agree?
Why
but-
wouldn't I agree?
Oh, because how I see it is for what we've been just talking about, how much it affects everything in your life. It's so crazy to me to think of, like, I see it as you are being a bad parent if you are not having your kids practice physical, like all the things that we're talking about. Because I think I see it now translating into adults of maybe the ones that didn't participate in that and heavily participate in physical activity, getting good sleep, and understanding all the importance of that.
Because you got great sleep.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I'm needing to figure that out later on in life, that it really affects like how they behave as adults. And I think it's harder. It's like what you're talking about, this whole thing of it's hard for people to get into that as they're adults because life is hard. And it's hard to prioritize that because it doesn't seem like it's worth anything, and it's difficult, so then it's harder to do when you're also dealing with regular life stuff.
Nowadays, it's not necessarily needed. You could go your whole life without having to exercise.
To where I think the kids
yeah, when
that
your life ends at 60.
Right. To where, like, you were milking cows, baling hay, like, you had to exercise. Like, it was just happening before.
Just what we were talking about a couple episodes ago. I rode my bike everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't sitting at home just playing video games.
Yeah.
There
Sitting.
we didn't have video games.
To where kids can Uber now, wherever they want to go.
Right. Right.
To where I think with me being in dance, I was very physically active. I ate like shit, but I was more
And slept like
physically,
shit.
yeah, but more physically active. That is my go-to. When life gets hard as an adult, that's my go-to. Is something needs to be a little bit sharpened in my health space. I need to prioritize my activity. I need to go on a walk. I need to get outside. That's my immediate go-to. And same thing with you, that I think of some adults, or a lot of adults that we come in contact with, it's like, oh, it's almost like you are not able to process how difficult being an adult can be. And I think a lot of it ties into those are not your go-to approaches. Is you're sick. That's what I think. If you prioritize that with your kids,
well, that's like anything.
That's
with
why
kids.
it's important.
The earlier they learn something, the longer it's gonna stick with them and stay with them.
Yeah.
It's like why you want them to learn an instrument early on. It's easier for them to learn a language, easier for them to learn quickly. That's like if you're just setting these habits of they eat healthy, they exercise, and they get good sleep, and they carry that into adulthood, that's just second nature now to them.
How about just entertaining yourself?
Well, yeah. We get
Not needing mom and dad to entertain them all the time.
Yeah.
That kids can play by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Self-reliance. And that goes with the compounding of all of that. Like what we talked about with adults, of you have confidence and self-awareness and the ability to handle yourself and to be able to, even entertain and like self-regulate, like what we were talking about with the loop. Like I think that comes through getting exercise, eating properly, all that kind of stuff.
In the last week, the ODA Loop.
Yeah, like I think practicing stuff like that, I think that naturally happens when you prioritize that kind of stuff in your life, but also with kids, like you said, and then it just becomes second nature.
Yeah. This is what it is.
But I guess you agreed right away, so never mind.
Yeah, what were
So
you
great.
going for?
I'm happy
like,
that you agreed.
shitty dad?
No, I'm happy that
Just wanted to slam you.
I'm happy that you agreed.
We're going to end this on you being a shitty dad.
No, I know I'm so cutthroat about it that I just assume I'm probably being crazy about it. And I think you probably agree with me. So just getting a third opinion of like,
I mean,
is this right?
People being a bad parent, that's a little aggressive.
That's harsh, yeah. That's way too blank. That's way too
You're
black
not
and white.
setting your kids up for success.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's yeah. It's probably
A bad parent beats their kids.
Yeah, that's probably not probably. That is very hard to be a bad parent.
Yeah, there's a threshold.
Yeah.
It doesn't start
yeah.
with exercise.
Abuse, neglect.
Yeah.
That
abandonment.
could probably be abuse if
Yeah.
people took that seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, that was just my thoughts on that.
All right.
One of
All
the
right.
opinions.
See you later.